Morgan, what are we talking about?
Today, we're talking about pros and cons of using Upwork. We're going to give you 3 pros and 3 cons. Welcome into the Morgan Mix, everybody. Just a quick introduction. I'm Morgan Overholt. I have earned $600,000 on the Upwork platform. I'm also a blogger. Elena, who are you?
I'm Elena O'Neill. I've helped her earn $600,000 on Upwork.
Elena is basically my right-hand woman, and she also runs our blogs as well. Let's kind of get into it, Elena. I say we just sort of take turns about these Upwork pros and cons. Elena, by the way, she didn't say this, but she's also an Upwork freelancer completely independently of me as well. So we're going to be talking about some really, I would say, prolific pros and prolific cons.
Are we starting with the bad news first or the good news?
Let's start with the good news. Number one, I find it easy to find freelance jobs and potential clients on Upwork. Now, that might be a bit of an unpopular opinion because I'll give you this caveat. A lot of people say, oh, it's hard to find freelance clients on the internet, right? And or on Upwork specifically. And here's the thing, it's not easy by any means to find freelance clients or start a freelance business from scratch, no matter what you do. If you're looking at LinkedIn, if you're looking at cold calls, it's all going to be a lot of legwork up front, right? But I find, personally speaking, and a lot of other freelancers agree with me, that when you use a site like Upwork, which is the largest online platform, freelance online marketplace platform in the world, this is not a commercial, I get nothing for saying that, that it's just a little bit easier to kind of, fish where the fish are biting. Everybody on Upwork is looking to hire a freelancer. They need something done. They've got a project. It's so much easier to just speak directly to those people rather than do a bunch of cold calls or call your friends and be like, hey, do you need a freelancer? Hey, do you have any projects for me? At least in my personal experience, I spent way more time, wasted a lot more time with those cold call efforts, and been able to use my time much more efficiently on Upwork.
Number two is that Upwork handles all the contract billing, invoicing, and mediation for you. I know. So another problem that that plague freelancers is handling the contracts, billing, and invoicing. And then there's always the problem if the client doesn't pay you, what do you do then? So Upwork has if you do hourly contracts, they will have a time tracker for you. And that's kind of a fail safe, if you will. If you don't have Upwork, you kind of need some other type of billing software. So it's really just nice, in my opinion, to have everything built in. And I know for you, Morgan, I know that sometimes if you have a client off the platform after your 2 years, which we'll get into later, if they try to go off the platform, sometimes you bring them back on because they're not very good about paying the bills.
Yeah, it's true. And actually, I do have clients I even found offsite, not on Upwork, that I just deal with directly. And like Elena said, I do have to maintain my own invoicing software, my own contract software. I use Fiverr Workspace, by the way. If you do want to use that, I'll put my affiliate link down in the description below. So we both save a little bit of money there if you do want to try out Fiverr Workspace. But honestly, it costs money, it costs time, which is why lately I've even been charging my clients more to move off the platform because it puts more work. I have to do more work invoicing them and usually chasing down the payments and setting up the contracts. And it's just easier for me if Upwork handles all of that for me. Number three, you can make a ton of money on the platform. All right, guys. So I've been on the platform for about 5 years, going on 6, and I'm actually slowing down my freelance right now. More on that later. But I've made over $600,000 on Upwork. I'm probably going to hit $700,000 next year, which is crazy. And that's remember that's part-time as well, because I'm also blogging. I'm also taking on clients off platform too. So Upwork only represents a portion of my income, which is pretty crazy. In the real world, I topped out at $100,000 a year. That was the most money I ever made as a salaried employee. And largely because of Upwork and because of freelance, I'm now looking at early soft retirement, essentially. I think I'm going to be probably a full-time blogger by the age of 40. Again, it's not easy, I would say, by any means to get started. Every new business, from freelance to some kind of massive retail empire, it takes a lot of work up front. But if you stay consistent and kind of follow, in other people's footsteps like myself, I can help you get there. You can find the kind of success that you're looking for. All right, now we're going to talk about Upwork cons. Number one con, you've got to pay to play, right? Now we are going to get into the fee structure here in a little bit. But first, just talk about how Upwork basically used to sort of be free to use. Now, of course, they always take a commission. Elena's going to talk about that in a little bit. But now they do require something called Upwork Connects. Now, luckily, they do give you a free set of connects to start. We have other videos on that. And I've also got a full-length blog article on Upwork Connects and exactly how many you get and how they work and how to get more, which I will also link below so you can read up on that. But Upwork used to be free pretty much all the time to apply for jobs. Now you do need something called a Connect to apply. The reason they have implemented that in recent years is because before, a lot of clients were getting inundated with just all these proposals. It wouldn't be at all unusual for a client to receive, 100 proposals on a job, but making freelancers take a moment and think, okay, is this job worth applying for? Is it worth spending like a couple of bucks here or there to send in my proposal or to boost proposal to stand out from the crowd? So now freelancers are being a little bit more discerning, which is kind of cleaning up the client's inbox. Again, we're only really talking about usually like anywhere between if you looked at the dollar equivalent amounts between like I think like $3 and $6, something like in that range to apply for a job. So it's not like a crazy fee, but it is something to keep in mind.
Number two, and I feel like this is probably the most heavily complained about thing, I think, on Upwork.
Bar none, this is the number one complaint about Upwork. This probably should have been number one.
But the thing is Upwork is a business and it has to make money and it's providing a service. And so it does take a commission for that service. The good news is that you can kind of mitigate that commission fee as you kind of build your client base and as you get more grounded in the platform. So at first, when you make it, if you have a brand new client, it's a 20% fee. And yeah, that's kind of hefty, but any business is going to have fees. So you just kind of try to work that into your rate. After $500, that first $500 that you make with the client, it goes down to 10%. And then after the $10,000 mark with that same client, goes down to 5%.
And there are caveats to that rule as well. I've also blogged about this, just so happens to be your luck, that there are certain ways to sort of bypass that 20% by like inviting your own clients or applying for enterprise jobs, etc. So I'll link the article so you can kind of like see different ways to get out of paying that 20% commission fee up front. But like Elena said, it goes down over time. I think I'm paying like an average of 6 or 7%. I mean, so which is like nothing, especially when I think about how automated Upwork makes the entire process for me. And then number three, this is the third Upwork con. So you have to keep your clients on the platform for 2 years to be within the Upwork terms of service. Now, I did mention this earlier, and a lot of people kind of gripe about this. And also a lot of people try to cheat the system, which is bad. You're going to get your hands slapped, and you're going to be lucky if Upwork doesn't suspend you from the platform if they catch you taking clients off before you hit that 2-year mark. Do not bite the hand that feeds people. So if you do find a client on Upwork, work with them for 2 years. And after that point, you're then allowed to take them off the platform, work with them directly if you so choose. But if you're like me, you'll probably get spoiled of using Upwork and be like, wow, Upwork makes everything so easy. You'll probably just want to keep them there anyway. But anyway, don't bite the hand that feeds. Keep your clients on Upwork. Upwork did you a service. They did you a favor by helping you find that client. So keep them there so Upwork can make their bounty and Upwork can stay in business. And so Upwork can continue to keep all the rest of us employed and rich and happy. Okay. Anyway, if you'd like to read more about these pros and cons, make sure you check out my full length blog article, which I will also link in the description below. And be sure to follow me on social media at Morgan O Media and subscribe to us here on YouTube.